I've been teasing this guitar for quite a while, and the time has finally come for to tell you guys all about it. This is CC, another one of my 7-string Charvel tribute star builds. So we're going to dive right in. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of behind the scenes of how I made this guitar, and then we'll talk about it, and then of course I'll let you hear what it sounds like. Let's check it out. Okay, so as you saw, a lot of work went into this build, and I definitely learned a lot along the way, because with this one, compared to my previous build, Akari, my white 7-string star, I had to do a lot of the work myself, or basically all the work. I did do it all, and I learned a lot, and especially what to do and what not to do. And if I could do it again, which I probably will, I would probably do things a little differently. So starting out, the most important part of this build was the body. And it literally started out as a Cypress plank from my family sawmill, custom Cypress sawmilling, which that's where the namesake came from. My dad even mentioned, why don't we call it CC? I was like, well, what's that stand for? He's like, it's short for custom Cypress. So there you have it. That's where the name for this guitar came from. But once again, it was a plank of Cypress from my family sawmill. We literally took it and, I don't know, it's probably like a 10-foot long 2x board, and we set it on a roll case, part of our sawmill. My dad said sit on this end, and we had about, I don't know, 2-3 feet hanging off the other end. And he took a sawzall, which keep in mind the blade of which is not supposed to bend, and cut this shape out. We took one of my Charvel stars, laid it on here, cut a little wide, you know, a little extra wiggle room, but traced out the basic shape of the star. And he cut that shape out with that sawzall. And like I said, the blade was bending, and they're not supposed to. So my dad's incredible at what he does, and that's another feat that I still don't know how he did to this day. But yeah, we actually cut this around we'll say 2013. So it's literally taken me like 11 years to get this thing finished. But yeah, so moving on, we cut the shape out ourselves, and it was just the Cypress star shape. It was pretty rough and rigid. I hadn't sanded it down yet. And I don't know, about 6 months ago, I had the ideas like, I need to finish this. You know, I need to get it done. Let's do it. So at that time, I just finished Akari, my 7-string build. And keep in mind, there's no template for this setup. And that's why it took me so long to get started on it. So once I got that one finished, I literally went to my local Walmart and found a storage container lid, and it was probably, you know, a little wider than the guitar body, and I took that, laid it over Akari once I took the, you know, neck and all the parts off, and basically traced out all the holes that would be for the routing and everything. And I took that giant lid, laid it on top of this body, and basically traced it all out onto the body, because I actually took my soldering pin and cut out all the holes of the template on that plastic lid so I could lay it on top of this and basically take a pencil and trace it onto the body. So that's what I did. What I didn't know was my measurements ended up being a little bit off, which definitely costed me drastically as far as setup and intonation goes, but it did work. And yeah, so literally I just took that template, which was based off of that build, the first one, and I just wanted it to be for 2 humbuckers, a 2 pneumatic style, like a Les Paul style bridge, 1 volume, 3-way toggle, and that was pretty much it. And I laid it on here, and my dad had lent me a router, which I learned the hard way that routers like to jump and take out giant chunks of wood if it's not mounted to something. And that's why if you look closely around the pickup rings and cavities, you could see some chunks of wood missing there. That's because I learned the hard way. But yeah, but I did learn also while doing all that, like in between this neck pocket and the neck pickup, that little piece of wood there, Cypress acts almost like glass. Like, we've done lots of things at the sawmill for years, you know, lumber, woodworking, all that. But this is a little bit different process. But this piece right here actually broke loose. I had to glue it back in there. But yeah, so that was a little bit of a learning curve. But even with all that, and of course on the back, I didn't even have a back plate to fit this guitar. So I went through my parts bin and found this one and laid it on here, traced it out, and basically cut the cavity to that back plate. So if I ever need another one, that's going to be fun to find. But yeah, and of course it's a bolt neck like the other one. But the hardest part of this build, in my opinion, was carving out the neck pocket. And that was a fun process. But I'm really impressed with myself of how close I got it, because I don't even have a neck shim in this one. I literally took a hammer and chisel and slowly took it out chunk by chunk and cut myself a few times. That was very fun. But hell, that actually resulted in having a little blood right there where the neck meets the body. I don't know if you could see that, but that's in there now. But yeah, it was definitely a learning process. And as far as specs go, like I said, 1 volume, 3-way toggle, the input jack, in the traditional spot as far as my builds and personal preferences go. Les Paul 2 pneumatic style bridge, which these aren't any name brand. I had to get the made in China ones. It's like the knockoff brand, but it does do the trick. One day I would like to have something a little better quality. But yeah, as far as the electronics, this is all out of that Jackson JS series 7-string I sacrificed for this build. So it's just the standard Jackson 7-string passive pickups. Like I said, tuner wise, we got the Jackson 7-string non-locking set, which will be replaced with a locking set of tuners eventually. That's what I use. It's what I swear by. Of course, my strap buttons. I have the Schaller style locking strap locks. And yeah, that's it. It's pretty straightforward. I will tell you guys though, as far as custom builds go, my measurements being off, mainly this part of the bridge should have been like right here. Because of that, it doesn't adjust as it's supposed to. So there's definitely some quirks as far as playing leads and solos on this guitar. But even still, not having any experience as far as like building stuff from scratch, it actually plays and sounds great. And it actually plays rather smooth. And it's an absolute riff machine for rhythm work and all that. It's kind of fun to play leads on it because it almost sounds like it's a little flat as far as tuning goes, although it's perfectly in tune. But like I said, that's to do with the intonation not being able to be adjusted properly. But that is once again my fault due to my measurements being off. But yeah, even still, I'm absolutely proud of this guitar. We literally took a plank of wood and turned it into a functioning instrument, and I'm very proud of that. I did it all myself. My dad helped me cut the body out. And all the woodwork, I literally did it by myself. I can proudly say that. And I will say it was definitely a learning experience. I learned how to do things a little bit better next round. But yeah, I've already written one brand new, very heavy song on this guitar, and it will end up being a single. Fingers crossed that will be placed between my next album and the one after that. I'm going to try to drop a single to like split them up. But yeah, I wrote that song on this guitar. So yeah, there you have it. This is CC, named after my family's sawmill, custom Cypress sawmilling. And I am very proud of this build. I've already played it on stage, I think once or twice. I always do like an under the radar kind of test run. And I think it was at Rackham Sports Bar. I did an all 7 string set because I'd recently redid some of my backing tracks from Remedies for the Porcelain. Got all 5 of those. So I did a whole 7 string set. And my dad was there and was like, you know, if I don't play this guitar, it's going to be kind of sad. So I broke it out. And of course, like I said, the lead work sounded kind of off, but everything else, this guitar sounded phenomenal. It sounded like a freaking freight train, like a tank or something. And to tell you even more about that, I ended up getting the mixing board audio from my set that night of all the songs I played. I think I played 10 of them. And all the other songs, I think all 9 of them, you could see where I played Akari, and the volume levels were all consistent. But the one song I played this one on somehow was louder, cut through the mix better. It makes no sense because, like, as you know, all these guitars behind me, I specifically play EMG pickups, which is ran by a 9-volt battery, and all those guitars sound a little bit more powerful than your passive pickups. Somehow, this one sounded more powerful than that. I can literally show you the wave files from that mixing board audio that night. It makes no sense. Because literally this is just standard electronics, passive pickups for the time being. And it just absolutely cut through the mix like 3 times louder. Makes no sense. But my theory is the Cypress lets it pop a little bit more. I don't know. But even still, I thought that was really freaking cool. But yeah, so there you have it. This is my current build, and of course it will be tweaked as the years go by. I'll probably throw some EMGs in here eventually, figure out something to do with the bridge so I can, you know, get it to tune and play properly. But I'm very happy. I can definitely use this as a backup. It passed the live test, so to speak. And yeah, I'm very happy with it. And one of the biggest things that my dad requested was that we leave it natural colored so that the wood grain from our family's mill could really pop. And as you can see, it definitely does. We kind of wish we'd used this as the front. It's got a really cool piece right there as far as wood grain goes. But even still, all I did was throw some clear coat on it. I think I did 3 coats. And yeah, the rest is history. So there you have it. And once again, I'm going to quote my last video. One of my heroes, Eddie Van Halen, biggest thing I took from his playing was don't be afraid to do it yourself or make something work for you. And that's why I've always did my own guitar luthier work and maintained my instruments and all that stuff. Like, I've always wanted to just do it for me by myself. And that's how this came to be. So don't be afraid to get in there and learn how your instrument works. Be careful. And if you ever need to ask people for help, don't be afraid to ask. I'm pretty ornery on that part. But yeah, so if I can do it, you can do it too. And like I said, just if you ever need help, feel free to reach out to someone that knows their way around as far as woodworking and all that goes. Best way to do it is to get in there and do it yourself. So there you have it. CC, my Charvel tribute 7-string star. This is like a tribute to what could be. So once again, if you like what you saw, feel free to share with your friends. And yeah, please subscribe, spread it, share it with everyone you think would enjoy it. I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I hope you have a great day wherever you're at.